Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Colton, and we are now in January 2025. We have a whole new year ahead of us and a whole old year behind us. And while I have a lot of really cool videos coming to the channel here right at the start of 2025, I always like to start out each year by reflecting on the goals I accomplished in the previous year and setting my goals for the coming year. So we're going to do that here. And if you want to share your success stories and your plans for this next year, put those in the comments below as well. And it'll be nice to see a year from now what you succeeded in and what maybe you have the opportunity to take another stab at or learn from. So for me, 2024 was a success story. It was the opposite of 2023, which was a total failure. But I learned a lot from 2023, which is that I set way too many goals. And so in 2024, I narrowed the focus and I lessened how many goals I set for myself. And it ended up being a success. So I want to go over what those goals were. The first one was to focus on one subject and do a series on that subject for the entire year. And that really helped me out because in 23, I had way too many projects that I was trying to do simultaneously, and it just like messed up the wiring in my brain where I couldn't do them to the extent that I wanted to. So having just that one series to focus on was really kind of perfect for the way that I operate, because anytime I wanted to be creative or work on something, I already knew it's this specific project every time. And so that was the Candy Art series that I started in 23. I just dedicated that as my full-time project in 24. And I really produced a large amount of images that I'm really proud of from that series. And that really helped roll into the other two goals that I had. The first one being to produce my own zine, which I finally did. And the fact that I only had one subject I was working on meant that I produced a lot of images and could really be picky about which ones went into the zine. Whereas maybe in the past, I maybe didn't have enough of any one individual series to do a zine on. So that really went hand in hand. And then the other element was to get into a gallery. And so I started out 24 by submitting to a number of galleries, and I ended up getting into two of them, which was really awesome. One of which has already run its course. It was like September to December of 24, and it was a little bit smaller, but it was a good experience. And then the larger gallery is actually starting in about a week. I think next week I go and do all the art installation for it. And then probably 1 week from when this video comes out is when we will be kicking off and opening that gallery. So that'll include a reception, an artist talk. It has way more images than the other gallery. So it's a much larger one, and took a lot of work, a lot of mental bandwidth, and was pretty exhausting to put together. But the benefit is that now I know what I didn't know. And so in the future, any galleries I go to will be, I think, a little bit easier to handle because I'll already know what I need to do to be successful. So I'm really excited, very proud of those accomplishments in 2024 and the fact that I was able to succeed in all of them. That's always great. Doesn't always happen, but you know, we had a good year there. And so that brings me to 2025. What are my goals going forward? So I'm going to take a page out of 24's book and keep it restricted to just three main goals. And so the first goal that I have for 2025 is to challenge myself by taking the Candy Art series I've been working on and take it to a distinctly next level. And where that kind of fits in for me, I think, is that historically these images that I've done have been on a flat surface, usually putting together some kind of pattern, but they're really two-dimensional. They're shot from a 45-degree angle or a 90-degree angle, not a lot of variance there. And while I've done a couple images that were a little more 3D, they've mostly been 2D. So in 2025, I want to maybe do less total images for this series, but really focus on making these images a lot more elaborate and 3D. So like building structures out of candies and then photographing those. I think that's going to be a lot more challenging because it's going to involve me planning a lot more, buying up more materials, being kind of crafty with my hands and assembling and creating this stuff. And so I think that's going to be challenging. I think the other element is maintaining the look of the series in a totally different way, making sure the shadows still work the same way. All of that's going to be a big challenge. So I'm excited for that challenge, and I think it will produce some very interesting images. And so that's goal number 1. Now, goal number 2, totally different, is to essentially double the subscriber count of this YouTube channel. Historically, I haven't really been that concerned with how many people watch a video or whether people subscribe or not. You know, this isn't a job for me. It's just something I do for fun, and that will continue to be the case. But I think it will be very challenging for me to double the amount of subscribers I have in just 1 year, because it's been over 2 years to get to this point that I'm at now. And so then in like less than half the time, I have to double that amount of work. So that's going to be challenging, but also because I'm not a marketer. I'm not someone who's really good at designing thumbnails and promoting my stuff. And so it's going to require me to utilize a skill that I don't really have, and to maybe seek out experts, do some research, try out things, be experimental. And so I think that will be very maybe eye-opening and an interesting kind of challenge to tackle. So that'll be goal 2, with maybe like a soft goal of getting to 2,500 subscribers. So 3,000 will be like the ultimate accomplishment, but I would even take 2,500 as like, hey, this is a really solid achievement. So either grow by 1,000 or grow by 1,500 subscribers by the end of 2025. And then the final goal is really designed to continue the momentum that I built in 2024, and that's to get into another large gallery. So ideally, I'll be looking to get into multiple galleries in 2025, but I want to get into at least one big one, something where I'm going to have a large number of pieces that I'm bringing, where I have to apply and present a proposal about why I should be included in the gallery, something that has a reception. So not just like a small local thing, maybe even something beyond the city of Austin would be cool. But I really want to use that as a goal to maintain or continue the efforts that I started in 24, and not let that just be like, oh, okay, I did a gallery or 2 and now I'm done, I'll never do it again. Instead, to really focus on maintaining that and get that momentum continued, get into some additional galleries. So those are my goals for 2025. I'm getting a bit tongue-tied, so I can tell this is about the end of the video and I should start to hang it up. But one thing I always love about these videos is when you guys share the successes that you had in the past year and the goals that you're setting for yourself in the coming year. And I hope that this video is no different. If you had successes or failures last year, I'd love to hear about them, especially on the failure side. What did you learn from that failure? And then what is your goals for 2025? You might just have one goal. You might have 10 goals. Like, I'm always curious because that always is a bit eye-opening to me on what you guys are working on. So if you're interested, share those below. And then, if you enjoyed the video, do give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, if you want to help me start hitting that subscriber goal that I set for myself, then hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and that'll keep you in the know for when the next video drops. But for now, I'm Colton. I'll see you in the next one.